The cast of Taxi Driver, 1976, delivered unforgettable performances that defined a generation. But where are they now? From Robert De Niro's legendary career to Jodie Foster's rise as a Hollywood powerhouse, we'll explore how their lives and careers evolved over the decades. Get ready to see the stars of Taxi Driver, then and now. Robert De Niro as Travis Bickle. Travis Bickle was a lonely and mentally unstable Vietnam War veteran who became a taxi driver in New York City. Struggling with insomnia, he roamed the streets, growing increasingly disgusted by crime and corruption. His isolation and obsession with a political campaign worker pushed him toward violence, culminating in a brutal act that turned him into a controversial figure. Robert De Niro was born on August 17, 1943, in New York City, USA. Raised in Manhattan's Greenwich Village in Little Italy, he was surrounded by the arts from an early age. His parents were both painters, and he discovered his passion for acting as a teenager, studying at the Stella Adler Conservatory and Lee Strasberg's Actors Studio. When Taxi Driver was released in 1976, De Niro was 32 years old. Today, he is 81 years old. After Taxi Driver, De Niro continued his legendary career, collaborating frequently with director Martin Scorsese. His standout performances include Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, 1980, and Jimmy Conway in Goodfellas, 1990. He also played Sam Rothstein in Casino, 1995, and Frank Sheeran in The Irishman, 2019. His versatility allowed him to transition into comedy, with hits like Meet the Parents, 2000. Jodie Foster as Iris. Iris was a 12-year-old girl trapped in a life of exploitation, controlled by her pimp, Sport. Despite her tough exterior, she longed for freedom. Travis became obsessed with saving her, offering her money and trying to convince her to leave. Their conversations revealed her conflicted nature, torn between independence and her harsh reality, making her a symbol of innocence lost. Jodie Foster was born on November 19, 1962, in Los Angeles, California, USA. She was a child prodigy, appearing in commercials by age 3 and acting in television shows before transitioning to film. By the time Taxi Driver was released in 1976, Foster was only 13 years old. Today, she is 62 years old. Foster's career flourished in adulthood, with her most iconic role being Clarice Starling in The Silence of the Lambs, 1991. She won an Academy Award for Best Actress for her role as the determined FBI trainee. She also starred in Contact, 1997, as a scientist searching for extraterrestrial life, and in Panic Room, 2002, a thriller directed by David Fincher. Foster later transitioned into directing, helming The Beaver, 2011, and Money Monster, 2016. Cybill Shepherd as Betsy. Betsy was a political campaign worker for Senator Palme, who became the object of Travis's romantic obsession. Initially charmed by his awkward sincerity, she quickly grew uncomfortable with his behavior. After an ill-fated date, she rejected him, deepening his sense of alienation. Her role highlighted Travis's inability to connect with normal society and his descent into paranoia. Cybill Shepherd was born on February 18, 1950, in Memphis, Tennessee, USA. She began her career as a beauty queen and model, gaining recognition before transitioning to acting. When Taxi Driver was released in 1976, she was 26 years old. Today, she is 75 years old. After Taxi Driver, Shepherd became a major television star. She found widespread success as Maddie Hayes in Moonlighting, opposite Bruce Willis. The show's witty dialogue and romantic tension made it a cultural phenomenon. She later starred in Cybill, a sitcom based loosely on her own life, which won her a Golden Globe Award. Shepherd also appeared in films like Chances Are, 1989, and Texasville, 1990, the sequel to The Last Picture Show. She continued working in television with recurring roles in The L Word and Psych. Harvey Keitel as Sport. Sport was Iris's manipulative and charismatic pimp, who controlled her with a mix of charm and coercion. He represented the corruption and exploitation that Travis despised. His smooth-talking nature masked his sinister intentions, making him a prime target for Travis's violent crusade. Their confrontation was one of the film's most intense moments, solidifying Travis's transformation into a vigilante. Harvey Keitel was born on May 13, 1939, in Brooklyn, New York. Raised in a working-class Jewish family, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps as a teenager before pursuing acting. When Taxi Driver was released in 1976, Keitel was 37 years old. Today, he is 85 years old. Following Taxi Driver, Keitel's career soared, particularly in crime and independent films. He worked with Quentin Tarantino, playing Mr. White in Reservoir Dogs, 1992, and The Wolf in Pulp Fiction, 1994. His performance as Mickey Cohen in Bugsy, 1991, earned him an Academy Award nomination. He also starred in Bad Lieutenant, 1992, as a corrupt cop struggling with redemption. Keitel continued to play intense roles in The Piano, 1993, Copland, 1997, and The Irishman, 2019, proving his longevity as one of Hollywood's toughest and most compelling actors. Albert Brooks as Tom. Tom was Betsy's co-worker and served as the film's comic relief, providing a contrast to Travis's brooding nature. He was witty and somewhat condescending, making it clear that he saw Travis as odd and out of place. His dismissive attitude further alienated Travis, reinforcing his feeling of being an outsider in a world that didn't understand him. Albert Brooks was born on July 22, 1947, in Beverly Hills, California. Raised in a showbiz family, he started as a stand-up comedian before transitioning into acting and filmmaking. At the time of Taxi Driver's release in 1976, he was 29 years old. Today, he is 77 years old. After Taxi Driver, Brooks built a successful career in comedy and drama. He directed and starred in critically acclaimed films like Modern Romance, 1981, and Defending Your Life, 1991. His dramatic performance in Broadcast News, 1987, as Aaron Altman, an insecure journalist, earned him an Academy Award nomination. He became a beloved voice actor as Marlin in Finding Nemo, 2003, and Finding Dory, 2016. Brooks also played a rare villainous role as Bernie Rose in Drive, 2011, proving his versatility as both a comedic and dramatic actor. Peter Boyle as Wizard. Wizard was a fellow taxi driver who acted as a mentor to Travis, offering advice and camaraderie. Despite his experience, his wisdom was superficial, failing to address Travis's deeper psychological turmoil. He dismissed Travis's concerns with casual talk, missing the warning signs of his growing instability. His character reflected the indifferent attitude of society toward those struggling with mental issues. Peter Boyle was born on October 18, 1935, in Norristown, Pennsylvania. He initially studied for the priesthood but turned to acting instead. By the time Taxi Driver was released in 1976, he was 40 years old. He continued acting until his death in 2006 at age 71. Boyle's career included a mix of serious and comedic roles. He gained fame in Young Frankenstein, 1974, as the monster, displaying impeccable comedic timing. His most famous role after Taxi Driver was Frank Barone in Everybody Loves Raymond, playing the grumpy, sarcastic father of the main character. He won an Emmy Award for a guest role in The X-Files, 1996. Boyle also appeared in The Candidate, 1972, Joe, 1970, and Monsters Ball, 2001. His deep voice and commanding presence made him a standout performer in every genre.